Fiancé got gang asterisked at her bachelorette party, so I vanished quietly before the wedding and what? Hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. My fiancée got completely humiliated at her bachelorette party, so I quietly disappeared before our wedding, and what happened afterward left everyone stunned. I'm Jake, a 32-year-old guy, and last weekend I was supposed to marry my fiancée, Emily, who's 29. We had been together for 3 years, and I genuinely thought she was the one. We'd been living together for most of that time, and I believed our relationship was rock solid, or so I thought. Emily went on her bachelorette trip to Miami with 7 of her friends 2 weekends before our wedding. I wasn't worried about it. We trusted each other completely. I figured they'd grab some drinks, hit the clubs, maybe see a stripper or two, typical bachelorette stuff. I even drove her to the airport, kissed her goodbye, and told her to have a great time. During her trip, I hung out with my buddies, finalized some wedding plans, and picked up my tuxedo. Everything seemed normal. She kept texting me about how much fun she was having, how she missed me, the usual. She returned Sunday night exhausted but happy, saying they'd had a blast and she was glad to be home. Then Wednesday night, just 3 days before our wedding, I got a strange text from an unknown number. You should see what your fiancée did at her bachelorette party. She's not who you think she is. Along with that message, there was a video attachment. For a second, I almost deleted it thinking it was spam or a scam, but something told me to open it. What I saw crushed me. Emily with 2 guys in what looked like a hotel room. They were doing things to her. She wasn't drunk or confused. She was fully participating and even encouraging them. At one point, she looked into the camera, smiled, and said, "What happens in Miami stays in Miami, right?" Then burst out laughing. I watched the entire clip, 3 minutes and 42 seconds of it, and that moment shattered my relationship and my future plans. I felt so sick I almost threw up. I didn't confront her right away. I needed time to think. That night I stayed in the spare bedroom in our place, claiming I didn't feel well. The next morning, while she was at her final dress fitting, I called my best man, Tony, and showed him the video. He was just as stunned as I was. I needed someone else to confirm what I'd seen. "What are you going to do?" he asked. "I'm not getting married," I replied. I spent Thursday packing essentials while she was out with her mom. I left her a note that simply read, "I know what happened in Miami. The wedding is off." I left my key and her engagement ring on top of the note. Then I moved into Tony's place temporarily and turned off my phone. I couldn't deal with the fallout yet. When I turned it back on Saturday morning, what would have been our wedding day, I was flooded with 47 missed calls and over 60 text messages from Julia, her family, and some friends. Julia's texts ranged from confused "where are you?" to frantic "please call me, I need to explain," with more desperate phrases like "I made a terrible mistake," and "please let me explain." Her parents contacted me, furious that I supposedly abandoned their daughter, but then confused once they learned the truth. Apparently, Julia finally told them after failing to reach me. I sent out a mass message to all the guests saying the wedding was canceled and apologized for the inconvenience. Then I sent a message directly to Julia. "There's nothing left to say. It's over. It's been a week now. I've moved into an apartment and started the process of separating our lives." I blocked her on everything, but she finds ways to reach me. She claims it was some stupid, drunken mistake, that it meant nothing, and she was caught up in the moment and peer pressure from her friends. But I saw the video. She wasn't that drunk. She knew exactly what she was doing. Her cousin, who wasn't at the bachelorette party, reached out yesterday. She said Julia is a wreck, barely eating, crying all the time. She begged me to at least talk to her. I told her no. Maybe I should have confronted her face to face instead of leaving, but I just couldn't bear to look into her eyes knowing what she'd done. The thought of standing at that altar, saying vows about fidelity and trust when she's already broken them, was too much. I know some people think I was harsh to just leave like that, but how could I ever trust her again? The woman I loved betrayed me in the worst possible way just before our wedding. The pain and shame are overwhelming. I'm taking it day by day, trying to hold it together, but there's no going back. 2 weeks later, an update. Thanks a ton for all the support and advice on my last post. It really helped. A lot has happened since then. First, I found out who sent me the video. It was the girlfriend of one of the guys Julia slept with. Turns out he's been bragging about it, and she found the video on his phone. She was pretty upset and shared it with me anonymously after doing some social media sleuthing. Julia is still trying to reach me. She even showed up at my new apartment crying and begging for a chance to explain. I let her in honestly because I was tired of her causing scenes in the hallway. Her explanation was everything I expected. I was drunk. It was just physical. It didn't mean anything. I love you. It was a mistake. All the usual. But as she kept talking, I realized the truth was different. She admitted she and her friends went to a club that night, and her friends encouraged her to have one last fling. She confessed the guys weren't random. They were men she'd met the night before and had been hanging out with that whole weekend. She swore it was just a one-time thing, but then broke down and admitted she'd made out with one of them the previous night too. The truth was worse. It wasn't just a drunken mistake. There was flirting, planning, and deliberate choices over multiple days. Some of her bridesmaids not only knew but encouraged it and, shockingly, even filmed it. When I confronted her about that, she got defensive and said it's normal to have a final fling before marriage. Lots of people do it. That's when I lost it. Normal. Betraying someone you claim to love is normal. Participating in a threesome on camera just a week before our wedding. That's normal now. I told her she could leave, but not before she said something chilling. You'll regret throwing everything away over one mistake. That didn't sound remorseful. It sounded like a threat. She's now spreading stories that I was controlling and emotionally abusive, which is completely false. She's playing the victim, saying I abandoned her without giving her a chance to explain, then punishing her for what she calls a mistake. Some mutual friends are even siding with her. Regarding the money, we're fighting over who owes what. Her parents paid for most of the deposits, but many vendor payments were due the week before the wedding and came from our joint account. She demands I pay her back her half of the wedding costs, claiming I stole from her since I canceled everything. I've refused, of course, because I won't cover a wedding that was called off due to her cheating. I spoke to a lawyer, and thankfully, since we weren't married yet, I think I'm in the clear. Still, it's a headache. The social fallout has been just as bad. Julia's bridesmaids are spreading a distorted version of events, painting me as some kind of monster who left his fiancée over one drunken kiss, conveniently leaving out the threesome video. When I challenge their story, they accuse me of slut-shamming and claim what happens at a bachelorette is supposed to stay there. Some people buy into her lies, and I've lost friends. Those friends either believe her story or tell me I should forgive her. It's infuriating. One of her cousins, Lexi, who initially reached out to me, even posted on social media about how devastated Julia is and how I threw away a beautiful relationship over one mistake. A mistake involving two guys on camera just a week before the wedding. I mean, seriously. I'm the bad guy for standing up for myself. On the bright side, I've been focusing on healing. I've worked with a therapist, started a new workout routine, and reconnected with some old friends I drifted away from during the mess. I even took a solo trip, 2 weeks hiking in Colorado to clear my head. Every found item in our apartment of Julia's feels like a small dagger, her sweater, her favorite coffee mug. Our 5 years together had its good moments, and that's what makes this so painful. I guess the hardest part is realizing the person I loved and trusted never truly existed. A friend once told me I probably dodged a bullet, and maybe they're right. If she did this before we got married, she might have done it during our marriage too. Still, I keep asking myself if I missed the warning signs, the red flags I chose to ignore. I don't remember any. She seemed as invested in our future as I was. People ask if I regret not confronting her directly instead of just walking away. Honestly, I don't. That first few days after seeing the video, I was in shock. I couldn't process it or find the words. Leaving was the only way I could buy myself some time to think clearly. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time, and some days are better than others. Sometimes I wake up and forget for a second, then reality hits and the pain hits anew. But it's slowly getting easier. I'll update if anything major happens, but I hope this chapter is finally closing. 2 weeks later, another update. It's been a rough couple of weeks. Julia had a complete emotional breakdown, took a turn for the worse. She was hospitalized for severe depression and anxiety, according to her sister. Her family blames me, claiming I pushed her toward this by refusing to even consider reconciliation. They've been harassing me with calls and messages, calling me heartless and cruel. I feel bad she's suffering, but I didn't cause this. She did. And then a crazy twist. Those two guys from Miami. It turns out one of them is married. His wife discovered her husband's infidelity, maybe from the video, maybe another way, and is now divorcing him. Somehow, she got my number in her anger and called me. We ended up talking for nearly 2 hours, both of us sharing the pain of betrayal. Meeting the same betrayal from two sides made us feel a strange, bonding connection. We're meeting for coffee next week, just to talk, not a date. We're both still healing. And the latest shocker, Julia is pregnant. She showed up at my door last week claiming it's mine. She says she's about 4 months along, which lines up with conception during her Bachelorette trip. My first instinct was the Miami guy, but she insists they had sex the night before she left for the trip, and that timing lines up with that. Honestly, I don't remember. That week was a blur. I told her I want a paternity test right away. She got angry, claiming I'm adding insult to injury, and she's hopping the baby's mind so I should take responsibility. I refused, of course. This news threw me back into the emotional chaos. I'd thought I was finally moving on, but now I'm faced with the possibility of having a child with someone I can't trust. If it's mine, I want to be involved. I don't want a kid to grow up thinking their dad abandoned them, but I have no idea how to co-parent with her after everything. Julia's convinced this pregnancy changes everything, and now she's hinting I should forgive her and raise the child together, that we should try again. I told her that's never happening. The relationship is over, regardless of a paternity test. That set off another round of accusations from her family, calling me a deadbeat before the baby's even born. They're ignoring that I've offered responsibility if the child is mine. I just want proof first. On the financial side, the disputes are finally settled. We reached a compromise where neither of us is completely happy, but at least it's over. I paid more than I wanted to on some wedding costs, but less than Julia demanded. The house sale fell through, which in a weird way is good. I found an apartment I actually like. As for public opinion, her bridesmaids are still spreading stories, but fewer people buy her version now. The truth has a way of coming out. Some friends who initially sided with her have apologized after hearing the full story. One of her bridesmaids, Lexi, even called to apologize. She admitted she filmed the video and regrets encouraging Julia. Turns out, there was a lot of cocaine involved that weekend, which Julia never mentioned. It explains things, but it doesn't justify anything. Lexi confirmed my suspicion. Julia had cheated before, about 2 years ago, with a coworker. Her friends tried to cover it up. Learning that was tough, but also helped me realize I made the right call ending things. Cheating repeatedly and hurting me that deeply makes reconciliation impossible. Trust is irreparably broken. Julia even admitted to reaching out to both Miami guys once she found out she was pregnant. One blocked her instantly. The other, who's in the middle of a divorce, wants nothing to do with the baby, just child support. Her family, who were so quick to condemn me, are now scrambling to support her. Her father, who caused that scene at my office, now avoids me in person. Julia's social status has taken a hit, friends pulled away, and her career's been impacted. She took leave from work because of her mental health and pregnancy complications, and I heard she was passed over for a promotion. Some say I should feel victorious. Honestly, I just feel sad. Sad for the years I invested trusting her, sad for the future that's gone, and sad for the child born into chaos. Most of all, I feel relief that I figured out who she really was before saying I do. That I'm not connected to her through a child. that I can finally close this chapter and move forward without her shadows still hanging over me. As for me, I'm doing well. The new apartment finally feels like home. Works good, I even got a promotion last month. I've reconnected with old friends and even made some new ones. I've started dating casually, but nothing serious, it's too soon. Therapy has helped a lot, especially in rebuilding my trust. The financial mess is finally sorted. Julia last week finally picked up the last of her stuff, and there's nothing left tying us together. I still stay in touch with Valerie, and we've honestly become friends. She's dating someone new and seems happy. Every now and then, we joke about how terrible our exes were and how we should thank them for bringing us together in that weird way. I think this will be the last update. The story over now. Julia made her choices and she's living with the fallout. I've come to peace with it. I've moved ahead, built a new life. Honestly, I'm grateful, not because Julia deserved what she got, but because that whole nightmare set me free to find real happiness. And for anyone going through something similar, just hold on. The pain doesn't disappear completely, but it will fade over time. Life goes on, and sometimes the worst betrayals lead to plans and paths you never expected. Thanks for sticking with me through this.